Welcome back to another SCBWI Featured Illustrator interview. My name is Tamika Grooms, and I'm the Design and Illustration Manager for SCBWI. Every month, we select an Illustrator member to spotlight on the SCBWI website and social media pages to highlight the work that they're doing in the children's illustration market. This month's featured illustrator is Lauren Gallegos. Lauren, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I am so happy that I received your application for the featured illustrator here recently. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I really love when we get submissions for people who want to participate as a featured illustrator. And your work really stood out amongst those who submitted because of the full, rich colors that your artwork has, as well as the whimsy and the imagination that you put in each one of your compositions. So thank you so much for actually taking the time to submit and sharing your work with us today.
Absolutely.
So I want to go ahead and hop in, and I'll wait a second to share my screen, but if you can tell us a little bit about what is your artwork inspired by most? And that could be other artists, or it could be topics. What are the things that inspire your work?
So I've been doing it for a while, so there's been plenty of time to gather inspiration. Definitely other artists. In college, it was I took a lot of children's book classes. So Chris Sheben is one of them. I'm not sure if I got his name right, but I loved his style, and he had awesome lighting, which I love lighting. So I took from that for sure. Chris Van Allsburg, Arthur Rackham, just some classics, some are newer as well. Inspiration keeps coming. But definitely sometimes I hesitate to say it. Animation is a big inspiration to me. I love animation. And part of me has this idea that, oh, maybe I should have gone into animation, but it's also sounds so hard. So, but it definitely inspires me for sure. Characters, environments, all kinds of things like that.
And when you were studying illustration in college, did you have a focus on children's illustration, or was it more broad?
Yes, so I actually started out in graphic design in college. It was a really good foundation to start with, but it definitely wasn't my love. I love to draw a whole lot more, so I switched over to illustration, and specifically children's books was my focus.
Yeah. I do want to mention, if people go to your website, I was really impressed by the design section that you have on your website. We'll show some of those things, but I think it's really important that illustrators know how design works when it comes to doing children's books. When I get to that, I'll circle back to that conversation, but I do appreciate the fact that you did include that on your website. So
I do agree that it's not necessary, but I think it really helps just to have the ideas of design, like foundational design ideas and concepts just in the back of your mind.
So you said that you've been at this for a while. How long has it been that you've been at children's illustration?
Well, I graduated 2009, so
okay.
I'm not great at math. 15 years-ish around there. Yeah, so it's been a while, and it's been a very slow build. I'll say that. It wasn't like I got kicked off and it's been going full steam the whole time, but it's been slow. I've slowly gotten new projects and better projects, and I feel like I've gotten better over time. So it's a career, definitely a career.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your art process and materials that you use, so that we can start to learn a little bit more about your craft.
I started out doing traditional acrylic on illustration board. I love doing that. Probably my favorite medium. I also did colored pencil for a while, but that was pretty difficult. But then I had children and the acrylics had to go away for a little while. So I've moved to digital, pretty much all digital right now, which has, it's made the process a lot faster. And I really appreciate that because yeah, it goes like twice as fast. But I do miss the traditional holding the brush and mixing the paint and all of that. So I do hope that I can bring at least part of that back in at some point. Maybe mixing the two, digital and traditional. I'm not really sure what that would look like yet, but I would definitely want to experiment and try and incorporate both.
Mm-hmm. I want to go ahead and share my screen since you're mentioning your artwork. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I know you're talking about, the way that you use digital media. I want to go ahead and loop back before we look at your colored artwork. You have a lot of black and white artwork here. Even though I know that it's digitally created, it still has so much texture that I really appreciated when I was taking a look at your work. It doesn't feel overly digital to me. Like there's so much texture and things that like my eyes can feel when I'm looking at your artwork. And when I look at some of these compositions, what I mentioned before about the whimsy of this one right here, the whimsy and just the imagination that you're putting in some of your pieces, it makes it really engaging. And so let's go ahead and hop over to the color and stop me anywhere if there's ones that you want to talk about. I'm just going to thumb through a few of these. Very colorful, animated. I see why you said that about the animation part only coming through. So are these pieces just portfolio pieces, or are they pieces from books?
There are some that are from books. The first few here are personal pieces. Some of them were just for fun. Some of them were prompts that I got through my agency. Like they'd give a theme or an idea and you kind of just go with that. So there are a few that I kind of have a story I'm trying to include with it. Writing as well. That's a whole other skill, but I'm definitely attempting it. But yeah, usually I'll do a piece that goes along with my story just to kind of bring it alive a little more for myself.
When I saw this one in particular, well, not this one, but the sheep series that you have here, I do remember when I was a very little person counting sheep to go to sleep, and it always worked. So my sheep were not as cute as yours, but yeah, it's a good.
Those are from a book that I worked on a year or two ago. Yeah, and it was I think maybe my favorite book to work on so far. It was so fun to draw those little sheep.
They're delightful. They are. Let's talk a little bit about, because you got a lot here. Let's talk about this piece, because this is our featured piece for the website this month. Tell us a little bit about what inspired this one.
That one actually, I was commissioned to do for a manuscript that wasn't picked up yet. They were trying to pitch it with some art. So it was I love that manuscript and I hope it gets picked up at some point. But they asked me to do 2 samples. So this was one of them. And it unfortunately didn't really go anywhere yet. But they allowed me to use it as a portfolio piece, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great one. What drew me to it, of course, is just the diversity and the reflection of people all over the world, the language, how you brought everybody together, and just the feeling of the overall feeling of the piece. I thought it was going to be perfect for starting the year off right, and hopefully inspire all of us to kind of think more globally and how we can kind of share love and appreciation for other people as well. So I really love this piece. So
Thank you. I love
Yeah,
it too.
yeah, yeah, it's a great one.
I love the
There,
idea behind it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. There are lots of great pieces of art on here. I don't want to show them all. She has a lot of work on here, y'all. So please check out the website and we'll share the information. Before I go off of the website, I do want to mention two more areas. We mentioned about the book design. So if you are an
Mhm.
illustrator, please take a look at this because it's a beautiful example of how you can demonstrate that you do know book design, that you know how to lay out a page with the artwork. You don't have to know all of the skills that Lauren has, but Lauren has demonstrated this perfectly to show an art director that the work can be done. So, Lauren, what made you choose to show this on your website?
I'm interested in taking design projects, whether I illustrate it or not. I can do the design for anyone's book if they're interested. Um, just because I have the skill and I have some time, to fill. So willing to do that on the side. Um, but yeah, I've mostly done only books that I've illustrated. There are a few recent ones that I have not illustrated, but it's a skill that I can offer, and I want to offer it to people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I love to tell people about multiple streams of incomes, and you definitely have that here. So
Mhm.
always good to have something else. All right, so we have a few more than a few books here. I want to stop sharing my screen because I know you have a couple of your books in the background there. Please share with us your books and what you have to offer.
Yeah, I have, like you said, quite a few, but some recent ones. Like I said, my favorite as of right now is Baba Tap Sheep by Sleeping Bear Press. It's rhyming, which I love. I love rhyming books. Um, and it's good for bedtime, but it's also kind of a fun party before bedtime. So not just counting sheep. It's not just a counting book, but it's also really fun and it kind of gets you moving and then ready for bed. And then the other one is out. It just came out recently. I'm Glad for What I Have by Rachel Cruz. And this one is all animals. So you see a theme here. I love drawing animals. Um, but it's all animals. It's about contentment is kind of the theme. And, we have lots of toys and really fun things all around us, and we want more and more and more. And sometimes those things don't last. So it kind of talks about how kind of focusing more on things that do last instead of things that break and get lost, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Great
Yeah.
lessons for children as well as for adults as well. So
Hmm.
yeah. Lauren, you've been at this for a while. So I'm sure that you've been through a lot of, the waves of illustration and creative work. What do you do when things get a little challenging for you as a creative person?
Um, well, like I mentioned, that's why I've kind of gone into the design side just to fill time when there are gaps.
Mhm.
Um, as far as when I do have work, it I'll be honest, it can be overloading, like it's overwhelming.
Mhm.
And you put a lot of time and effort in and you can get worn out, and I think that's okay. I think that if you need to take a little bit of time and take a break, that you should allow that. um, or sometimes you're drawing and drawing and drawing and you can't anymore.
Mhm.
And I think that's all right. And there are waves of that. And I've been at it for about 15 years, and I always come back to it. I always have. And it's just, I love it so much. Um, I don't think I could just stop.
Mhm.
So I've been chipping away at it, and it's been slow, but it's my passion. So I'll just continue as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think it's so valuable that you share that because sometimes when we're just getting started, I'm speaking specifically for myself. We have this dream, we have this desire to do this creative thing. When you get into it, sometimes it's work, and
Mhm.
so you do have to kind of be gentle with yourself and compassionate as you go through the process. Even though there are deadlines and things that still have to move forward, you do kind of have to be very mindful that you have a body to take care of and a life
Mhm.
as well. So I appreciate the fact that you did mention that because we do all have to keep balance in all things. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely a real. um, Tell us a little bit about what made you join SCBWI.
That was in college. I was taking illustration classes for children's books, and one of my professors suggested it. I believe it was towards the end of my college time, so I was about to leave that community, and I definitely wanted and needed more art community around me. Just because I had decided that's the direction I want to go. um, I didn't want to lose that from college. It's college is a great time to have that community around you and to kind of see what other people are doing and lift each other up. Um, and this is SBWI is a great place to continue something like that and to grow. Um, so I definitely want to be a part of it, and even better, it has all the resources you need, all that I needed to keep my career going and to lead me in the right direction. Like going to conferences and meetups was the most valuable thing I could do for my career, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, we hope to continue to lift you up as well. Your work definitely is deserving of it, and you're in it for the long haul. So we're all here to support each other as much as possible. But I'm glad that we got a chance to actually highlight you and the work that you've been doing as well. Is there anything else that you want to share about your work, or how we can learn more about your work in general?
Well, my website, my main uh platform is Instagram, so you can find me there. It's my little giraffe picture. Um, and yeah, I'm just gonna continue on making making books when I can, and I do want to kind of move into writing a little more. I hope that could be a next step for me. We'll see.
Yeah,
You never
yeah.
know,
Well,
but I'm definitely in it.
we'll definitely be on the lookout. The writing will definitely come. Even if it takes a little bit of time, you just gotta, do approach it just like you did with the illustration. So we'll be on the lookout for that as well. Yep.
Thanks.